Howdy, folks. Welcome to Nites Bites. I'm your host, Clark Garen, and this is my guest today, Mary McGee.
Hello.
Citizen activist, feminist.
Yeah.
She doesn't want me to say that she's a leader. She really was a leader by example, but she doesn't want me to say that. She's a modest feminist, is
Whatever that
probably
means.
the only one that ever walked.
Thank you, Clark. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
So I'm dying to hear, as a feminist, as an activist, what did you think of the Democratic National Convention this week?
I liked a lot of it. I heard some great speeches. Governor Montana was great. I always enjoy listening to Gore. Kennedy was Kennedy.
Well, let's do it night by night. The first night, the big moment was Kennedy, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I thought that I actually found that very moving.
Well, of course, he's dying. He's been a leader in the Senate. He's sort of a lion of the Senate. Been there a long time, and people have somehow forgiven him, I guess, and forgotten Chappaquiddick.
Why do all you feminists always talk about Chappaquiddick? Every woman I talk to about that Kennedy demonstration talks about Chappaquiddick. What is it, tattooed on your brain or something?
I think so. That was never fully explained, or I don't think it's been forgotten by very many people. But it seems to be now, and I think he has paid his dues in the Senate. He's done a fantastic job for Democrats, women, children, fought for all sorts of rights. So he's to be given his due for his years in the Senate.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're willing to forgive him.
I didn't say I forgive him. I said that he deserved his kudos at the convention.
Okay, let's pretend all of a sudden that you have a new job. You're up there in wherever we go after we leave here, and you're in charge of evaluating Teddy to decide where he's going, heaven or hell. Where are you going to send him? Well,
He'll either be cremated or he'll be put in the family burial plot, and then it's back to dust.
No. You're wherever we go after we're here. You're God. You're God's representative deciding what happens to him for eternity for what he did while he was here. What are you going to do with Teddy?
Oh, I'm not going to answer that question. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Why?
Well, I'm not God, and neither are you, and you can't decide. And he has
well, you've been telling me you're God for a long time.
Okay, well, I'm not. Sorry about that.
Well, let's pretend, though.
No, let's not pretend. If you have an answer to that, then you make an answer.
I'm just curious what you think. I'm ready to forgive him. I think he's done wonderful things.
He's done wonderful things, and he
made one little mistake.
He killed a woman, for goodness sake.
Well,
he was drunk, and he continued to be a drunk until.
Well, of course, he had to drink to forget that he had killed the woman.
Okay, let's change subjects right away. Let's go on to somebody else's speech. The Governor Montana.
Well, no, wait a minute. We're talking about Monday night. After Kennedy, we had
Michelle Obama.
And what did you think about her speech?
I thought she gave a nice speech, a moving speech.
What moved you about it?
She talked about her family and herself. I thought that was very nice. We learned a little bit more about her and her lovely daughters. A little bit more about Obama, which I'd certainly like to know more. But
I thought I was being conned.
Well, we're being conned by all of these speeches.
Yeah, well, I thought I was being conned by her speech. I thought she was trying to hide the fact that she's an angry black woman and didn't want to tell us about it.
Whoa, where did that come from?
From watching her.
Whoa, okay. I didn't get that, but explain it to me.
She just looks to me like somebody who's trying to hide something. She talks about her family, her atmosphere. She grew up. It sounds to me like she grew up in a background that had a lot of prejudice. It sounds like she dealt with a lot of prejudice and poverty, clawed her way up, and she just sounded to me like somebody who was trying to hide what she really wanted to say.
You know, if I was a black woman and had to try to claw myself up in the period of time
Well,
that
you're a
she
white
did,
woman who had to claw your way up. When you got out in the world, they did not have, women were supposed to be barefoot and pregnant. They weren't supposed to be in the business world.
Yeah.
You had the same experience she did.
No, absolutely not. She had it 50,000 times worse than I did. She's a black woman. Blacks were not well thought of.
Well, way back in the last millennium, women weren't well thought of either.
And blacks, it was even worse. And we did call them blacks and not African Americans.
Yeah.
I thought she did quite well. I really do. So let's move on to the next speaker.
Well, that was it for that day. Then you had Barack on the TV and the kids and all that, trying to pull at our heartstrings. And then let's see, who came Tuesday?
Well, the guy I liked was the governor of Montana.
And what did he say that you liked so much?
He was a fireball. He just was a fireball. People who watched the convention, I'm sure that they saw that. He was ready, willing, and able. Let's go get him, folks. He's the first one that was really, let's hit him, and let's go get him, and let's get Obama in there, and da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what I liked about him, because he was really up. Everybody else has been rather ho-hum, and Teddy Kennedy's always angry. So, so then the next one, of course, was my favorite, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Hurricane Hillary.
Hurricane Hillary. And that was a marvelous speech she gave. Very uplifting, very uniting.
How was it uniting? I mean, she did what she had to do. As I sat and watched that speech, I thought she was gritting her teeth, and she did not. She did what she had to do to continue to have a career, but she didn't really make me think that she thought Obama should be president.
What did you want her to do? Crawl across the stage and say, "Oh, please, please believe me"? She couldn't have done anything more. That was a wonderful Hillary Clinton speech.
What she could have said is, I said a lot of things on the campaign about him not being ready, and those were things that I said on the campaign that I really don't mean, and I've served with him for 4 years.
2 years. He's only been in the Senate for 2 years.
No, he's been there 4 years.
2 years. He's been in the Senate 2 years.
He was elected when after he gave his speech at the Cary Convention 4 years ago. He's been there 4 years.
I believe he beat Bobby Rush to be in the Senate for 2 years.
No, he didn't beat Bobby Rush. That was a congressman. The guy he beat was Alan Keyes. The guy he was originally running against got convicted of corruption. So the Republicans imported Alan Keyes.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's been there 4 years. But she could have, back to your question, she could have said, I really know him for 4 years. He really is an inspirational.
Well, obviously she didn't know him, and she doesn't believe that.
Yeah, she thinks he's unqualified, but she went and endorsed him anyway.
Well, she's the most qualified. Every woman in America knows that.
And what are her qualifications? That she was Bill's wife for 8 years?
She's smart. She's intelligent.
No, she's not smart. She's with Bill.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the president that left us with a surplus?
This is the president who spent all his time in the Oval Office with Monica.
Oh, Monica, our little Monica. Could have been much worse. Could have been a hooker like the governor of New York. At least it was just Monica.
Well, frankly, I think the bit with the governor of New York was better than Monica. The governor of New York at least was dealing with a professional who willingly did it. Monica was hardly more than a child who was enamored. You know, Monica was exploited.
Oh, she was not exploited. It was consensual. And Spitzer paid tons and tons of money.
And he got what he paid for.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully he got what he paid for.
Yeah, he got screwed.
Oh, God.
We're going to be right back. Please stay with us.